Hey everyone, Austin here again with another pinball machine gameplay video. It's actually been quite a long time since I've done one of these, and forgive me if I stutter or pause a little bit on this one. This footage was recorded approximately 10 months ago, so this has been sitting on my hard drive for a very, very long time. I just haven't really had time or motivation really to put this commentary together, but here we are now. I actually no longer own this machine. This is Sharkey's Shootout. It's a game I bought probably about 2 years ago as of doing this video. Had it for about 6 months, had some issues with some health issues and whatnot. Had to sell my pins, including this one, unfortunately, which was a shame because this is actually a really fun game. This is a game that people talk about in a very negative light, which is kind of a shame because I had a blast with this game. It's not terribly complex, but it is a ton of fun to play, and I'll do my best to try to explain the rules and whatnot as we go through this video. This rather lengthy video. I put up a fairly decent score, I think over 1 billion points, which is a lot of points in this game. It's a bit of a grind, but it's a fun grind in my opinion. So, Sharkey Shootout is a 3-flipper game. You'll notice that there's an upper left flipper. You can stage that flipper, which is something that you'll see me doing a lot over the course of this playthrough. And your main goal in the game is to go through all 6 opponents, which are denoted in the bottom middle of the playfield, between the slingshots. Currently, we are on Sharkey himself, who is the titular character. The different opponents that you face have different properties. Tex, for instance, will, if you're fighting against Tex, he'll basically maximize the jackpots during your multi-ball. And if you access your normal multi-ball, it'll turn into Stampede multi-ball. And it's funny we actually just mentioned that because we are in Stampede multi-ball right now. Locking balls in this game is fairly straightforward. When you start a game, at least on the settings I had, lock is pretty much always lit, and you can just go straight into multi-ball with 3-ball locks. All your shots are lit. You just want to hit them, and then when you qualify a certain amount of shots, or when you complete a certain amount of shots, your super jackpot will light. Now you can either hit the upper loop from the upper flipper, or you can backhand your shot into the 8-ball or the mystery ball up top. Both of those shots actually will count towards the super jackpot. And the super jackpots are pretty big in this game, something like 50 million points. And again, since we're on Tex as an opponent right now, we are in Stampede multi-ball, and so the jackpots are basically maxed out. And so if you're going to play multi-ball, it's best to try to have Tex as your opponent. So even if you don't, it's entirely possible to still get a ton of points in your regular multi-ball. One neat little feature in this game is there are safety posts on the outlane and between the flippers. And whereas on games like, say, Rolling Stones Limited Edition, where you can use them infinitely, on Sharky's they have limited uses. So I basically used the one on the left-hand side to save that one ball. Now it's out. I can't use it again until I relight it. And relighting them is actually pretty difficult in this game. You'll notice that there's a set of drop targets on the right-hand side of the playfield. You can knock those drop targets down, and what's cool about them is kind of like classic 8-ball deluxe or something like that. There's another row of targets behind them. If you want to relight your safety post, you have to hit all the targets, which designates payoff, behind the drop targets, and that's actually a lot easier said than done. It's not something that happens very frequently, so use those safety posts with caution. You try to use them only when you really need to use them, but it's very easy to panic when the ball gets near the outlanes, and you'll use a safety post even when you don't need to. So I just activated bumper pull right there. That raises the values of the pop bumpers for a short period of time. You'll notice that there's a orange arrow on the top center part of the pop bumper area. That designates or denotes that bumper pull is active, and you can hit that scoop up there, which now raises the bumper value. The bumper value can actually get really high, 500,000 points plus per pop, as long as bumper pull is still running. You'll start bumper pool by completing all 3 top lanes, I believe, and if you get a skill shot off the plunge, which is usually the center lane, you'll also, I believe, start bumper pool immediately, which is nice. Styx is one of your opponents, and he is the bumper pool guy. He has some sort of effect on bumper pool. I'm not sure if he keeps it permanently going or something like that. There's actually not a whole lot of information on this game online, unfortunately. Just a lot of basic stuff, like, you know, what multi-ball does and things like that. But not a lot of details out there regarding the character properties. And in my ownership, you know, my short time by, you know, owning this game, I wasn't really able to figure out what Dr. Wood does, or what Gray does, who's the alien. I believe that's his name. So Sharkey, I have no idea what Sharkey does. So if anyone out there knows, definitely post a comment below and please let me know. So to defeat opponents in this game, you have to knock down all the drop targets on the right hand side of the playfield, and then shoot the 8-ball over on the right hand side of the playfield. When you do that, you'll go into trick shot mode, and trick shot mode is really cool. It's a risk versus reward mode, so you can basically finish trick shot and finish off your opponent by just shooting the 8-ball again, or you can risk it and try to hit the lit drop targets. So you'll notice on the right hand side of the playfield, the 4 and the 5 targets are lit, and you have to knock both of them down. And when you do that, that was a bad dream. When you knock both of them down, another set of 2 will pop up, but you'll raise the trick shot value. You don't actually get any points for hitting the drop targets when that happens. You'll raise the overall trick shot value, and then when you hit the 8-ball to finish off your opponent, you collect that trick shot value. And it's really good to try to build that trick shot as early as you can in the game, because the trick shot value never goes back down. So the risk is using your first trick shot mode to build it up as high as you can, and then the rest of the game you'll have it maybe maxed out if you get really lucky. I think max trick shot value is like 20 or 25 million or something like that. So that is definitely something I like to do on some games, is try to max that trick shot value on the you know, the first opponent if I can. Now, there are 2 different games of pool here. You've got 9-ball and 8-ball. 8-ball, you have to hit down all the drop targets and then shoot the 8-ball, and you'll finish the opponent and then start trick shot. For 9-ball, what's kind of cool about it is you only have to get the first 3 or 4 drop targets down, and then the left orbit will actually light. So kind of like in real 9-ball, where you can combo balls into, you know, you can combo your target ball into the 9-ball, and if you sink the 9-ball that way, you can win early instead of having to knock down all 9 balls. And it's very similar in this game. So if you're in 9-ball, and you'll notice that the left left orbit starts flashing, go for it. If you've got the ball in the left flipper, try to post-transfer it or something like that. Post-transferring works somewhat decently on this. And just finish off your mode. You'll go straight into trick shot and whatnot. So you've also got these pool lanes out on the bottom, you know, out lanes and return lanes. What's interesting about the pool lanes is that you can't feed them directly without doing an intentional alley pass or having the ball go out, you know, just happen to land in the in lane or the out lane. What pool does, if you manage to spell that, is it lights the mystery ball on the left ramp. And the mystery ball is basically your mystery mode, but the modes and awards you get can be really good. One of them is just instant multi-ball, another one is lighting locks, things like that. You can also go into a ramp mode where you just shoot the ramp over and over for some decent points. And so what I like to do is whenever I have the mystery ball lit, I want to collect it right away. And what we did there is off the mystery ball, we actually went into the Black Widow mode, which is a drop target that pops up on the upper loop. And if you hit that, you'll collect some points, as you know, for the hurry up value. But it'll also light locks. That is the only way to light locks in this game. So if you shoot the left orbit, a post pops up, diverts the ball back down, which is always a really fun dynamic, in my opinion. And if you can successfully hit that drop target up top, you'll light locks, and that's how you get back into multi-ball. There's only really one main multi-ball in this game outside the wizard mode, and it is just that your standard multi-ball lit by getting those Black Widow hurry-ups. So to lock a ball, very much like getting the super jackpot, you can either shoot the upper loop or you can shoot the inner shot on the left-hand side of that upper loop. You can backhand that inner shot, which is very nice. You can also forward-hand it from the left flipper, which is how you're going to do it more often, most likely. The backhand is really, really tight, and whether you can do that is going to depend on how high the flippers sit. If you're on location playing this and the flippers sit relatively flat, it's going to be really difficult to backhand that shot, so just something to keep in mind. So Mystery Ball is late again, so again, I wanted to cash that out because the awards can be really good on that. And we'll see what we get here. We just got an instant jackpot. Nothing crazy. It's only 7 million points. Not that great. But it is points. So the Black Widow Hurry Up is lit again. And I went ahead and just collected it. And my next lock is lit. So we're going to go ahead and probably take that. There we go. And now we're back into regular multi-ball. So you notice that all the shots are lit. Just hit the shots until your super jackpot lights. And that is pretty much it. We also completed the top lanes, which meant bumper pool started. So bumper pool is really good to have going when you're in multi-ball, because the balls are always going to the top of the playfield. You'll notice that the balls always kick out at the pop bumpers. So, you know, if you can get that bumper value up pretty high and then get into a multi-ball, you can actually get a lot of points from those pop bumpers. It's actually definitely a fairly valuable asset on the game. A lot of pinball machines pops are just there just for randomization purposes. They don't really do much in terms of scoring, but in Sharkies they can actually be pretty important, especially if you can keep your multi-balls going. Keep your multi-balls frequent and your multi-balls long. What's really awesome about multi-ball in this game is you can still progress through your opponents. So I'm actually in the trick shot mode right now, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll either try to just pound right through my opponents as quickly as possible during multi-ball, or I'll try to max out that trick shot value during multi-ball as well. So we're actually on our final opponent, or we're going to be on our final opponent. Are we actually fighting her right now? There we go. So Jeanette Lee, the best pool player in the world, as she says in the game. She, also known as the Black Widow in real life. She's actually a real life pool player. I don't know if they got her to do the voices or anything like that in this game. But yeah, she's a real-life pool player, and you have to actually fight her twice, whereas the other opponents you only have to fight once. With Jeanette Lee, you have to fight her in both 8-ball and 9-ball, which isn't too bad to do. One feature that's really interesting, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. I kind of wish there was an adjustable setting, but there's not. You can actually spot your drop targets by shooting the left ramp. So, if you're in a normal game of 9-ball or 8-ball, and you got the ball in the right flipper, you don't actually have to hit the drop targets. You can just hit the left ramp, and it'll spot one of the pool balls. Now, when you do shoot the left ramp, it always diverts the ball over to the left flipper, so it's hard to loop that ramp over and over. But it is... Oh, no, actually, I'm incorrect. Sometimes it diverts over to the right. My bad. Yeah, I actually just remembered what happens there is, you'll shoot the left ramp once, it'll divert to the right flipper. You'll shoot it again, it'll divert to the left flipper. And then a combo actually lights on the 8-ball shot. So yeah, I completely forgot there were combos in this game. The combos only start at something like, I think they start at like, I don't know, maybe 10 million points or something like that. But then the second one will be 20 million, the third one will be 30 million. I've had it built up to 50 million a combo, which is a lot of points. Now the combo value actually resets, after each ball. So if you manage to get that combo value up quite a bit, it's actually worthwhile to try to play for combos. Just left ramp, 8-ball. And that's the only actual combo in the game as far as I'm aware. But again, the combo value does build the more you do it. And we're actually getting really close to defeating Jeanette Lee, and we'll be into the wizard mode of the game, which is called the Web, which is actually a pretty fun wizard mode. I like it a lot, and it's not too bad to keep it going. Although, if I recall correctly, I don't have a very good wizard mode, but at least I do get to show it off, and I can explain how it works and whatnot. So there's also this this cash prize system, or this cash something or another, cash pot system, which is denoted by this vertical row of white lights near the left-hand upper flipper. That supposedly it has some sort of effect on the scoring. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but that also goes into an overall pot. And if you can get over $1 million in your pot over the course of a game, you'll actually get your name on a leaderboard for millionaires, which is kind of cool. So there are actually 2 leaderboards on this game, sort of. There's actually only 1 entry for the millionaire. So the most recent millionaire is shown. So again, this is the web. The idea is just to hit all the lit shots once. So you have to hit left orbit, 8 ball. I think the scoop, left ramp, and then the drop target lights. And once you hit the drop target, you'll get an atta ball. Now, I just drained, but what's really cool is that the hurry up keeps going. And even if you're down the single ball play, if you manage to get that hurry up, it'll restart the multi-ball. So that's really important to keep in mind in this game. If you botch the wizard mode, you can still keep it going. If you can get that hurry up, as long as it's lit, you will be able to reset it. But there we go. We're out of the wizard mode, unfortunately. So really bad wizard mode. Only 100 million points. You should get a lot more points with the wizard mode on this, but it requires you to play things well. So we also had the Black Widow Hurry Up lit again. If you want to light the Black Widow Hurry Up, all you have to do is just shoot that left orbit a bunch of times. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. It might involve shooting the upper loop as well, but I'm pretty sure I've been able to get it lit just by shooting that left orbit a bunch of times. So if you want to get your locks going, try to hit the the pop, or try to hit the top lanes as many times as you can with that left orbit. I've also got Pay Off, which is one F lit. I just need that bottom target behind the drop targets, and then that'll relight all my safety lanes. So Sharkey's has 2 extra buttons on the outside of the machine. So you get your flipper buttons, and you have an extra set of buttons below those. And left button triggers the left outpost, right button triggers the right outpost, and both buttons together triggers the big fat red center post in the middle between the flippers. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get those posts lit, and so we ended up draining on that ball. And I'm trying to think of other things to explain about this game. I don't really think there's a whole lot else, to be honest with you. I can't really think of a whole lot. Extra ball does light on the scoop. We've actually had, I think, 1 or 2 extra balls so far. Again, there's the mystery ball that was lit, so I went ahead and cashed that out. There is actually a sort of a gate up there that will hold the ball in place, but sometimes it would come loose and the ball would just, come right down for me, and I think that's just what happened. Either that, or you can cancel it out with the flippers while it rotates through its awards. What's actually kind of neat is the mystery ball actually has this mechanism in it that has a label of all the different awards, and it's sort of spins around. There's a little window in the mystery ball, and you can actually see what the awards are as they go through. And there's also a flasher up there. So if you get this game for the first time and your 8-ball up there, mystery ball doesn't flash. It's supposed to. There is a flasher in there. And then the mechanism is supposed to rotate around as well. If I remember correctly, I think my mechanism was a little wonky. Sometimes it wouldn't rotate when it was supposed to. But the game determines the award and whatnot. So, but there we go. We're back in the multi-ball. We're at 728 million points. 7 more shots lights the super jackpot. And again, you can progress through your opponents during multi-ball, so that is also a goal that's really good to keep in mind. What I've done many times in playing this game is I've started the game and I went straight into multi-ball, and when I came out of multi-ball, I was at the web. So you can basically rip through all your opponents during multi-ball. And since we actually defeated an opponent and went into Tex as our next opponent, our multi-ball changed from regular multi-ball into Stampede multi-ball, so the jackpot values are now maxed out. So now, unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any rhythm or rhyme to the opponent structure in this game. It doesn't seem like there is, it really doesn't seem like there's any rhythm or rhyme to it. There's no way to just set up your next opponent and control who your next opponent is, as far as I'm aware. So now, during that multi-ball, we actually got a nice little neat feature where if you use the outlane post save and it pops the ball up over the rail into the shooter lane, you'll actually get an airball award, and a little animated ball appears on the screen with angel wings, and indicating that the ball basically just flew over that post back to safety. So nice little attention to detail that didn't really need to be there, but is. So just one of the many examples of how Sharky's kind of has this like really nice positive charm to it. It's kind of cute in a way, and it's something that I feel like it doesn't get enough credit for. It's definitely a fairly lighthearted game. You know, none of the remarks in this game are very negative overall. It's just a very chill, fun game. You know, both from the gameplay and the humor and the music. You know, everything is just very kind of like laid back in this game. It's kind of nice. So we are about 3/4 of the way through the gameplay, a little bit more than that. We're 20 minutes in, and we're basically just working our way through our opponents again. So ideally what I want to do right now is just hit that left ramp if I get the ball on the right flipper, and that's probably exactly what I'm going to do. There we go. And since we're a 9-ball, I can just shoot that left orbit right now to finish it off, and that's going to be my goal. And unfortunately, I'm really getting out of control here, and that's one thing I'd have a tendency of doing when I play Sharkies, is I have a tendency of getting out of control. It looks like we just crossed the millionaire threshold, so that means I'm going to get my name on the board for having $1 million in my pocket. And now all I need to do is shoot that right 8-ball. There we go. Finished the trick shot. Got 15 million. So that's not the highest trick shot value out there, but every opponent we go through, we're getting 15 million points at a bare minimum. So, and combos are lit. So left ramp, and that should have fed the ball over, but sometimes the diverter didn't work properly. I guess maybe the ball just looped around too quickly for it. Sharkey is a very old game. I think it came out in 2000. So it was, yeah, it's very, very old. And a lot of these games were routed. Like, my game was actually in decent shape for the most part, except for that scoop at the top. The rest of the playfield was in good shape. But you know, some of the mechanics were probably long in the tooth, to say the least. So some of my things, like the mystery ball diverter, would sometimes not work properly. And that's fine. You know, I don't really get in and get my hands dirty with stuff like that unless something is truly, truly broken. If it works sometimes, doesn't work the other times, I just kind of live with it. That's usually what I'm like with my machines. I'm more of a player, less of a tinkerer, less about getting things perfect on my games. I'm more about figuring them out and just enjoying them as is. So, but yeah, so now we're fighting Sharkey, and, you know, it's just rinse and repeat at this point. And we also got the mystery ball lit, so I cashed that out right away. I'm always keeping an eye on those in lanes, and if I get the 4th letter, I always go straight for that ramp, because again, you can get some really good awards. Getting your locks lit is really important, because that Black Widow hurry up can be pretty risky. Now, I've also got really bouncy rubbers on this game. Basically, I have blue rubbers on the bottom flippers, which is very bouncy, and then I have yellow on the top flipper. But that was mainly done just for looks, but that, and I think it was the only rubber type I actually had on hand. But it ended up working because they look good with the game, but it also made things a little more challenging because the game became a lot more bouncy as a result. When I first got the game, it had black rubbers on it, so the ball was less bouncy. It was easier to control things and whatnot. But right now, with how it was playing, you know, it was one of those things where, you know, the game was a little bit more difficult as a result of that bounce. You know, if you ever want to make things a little more challenging on your home games, put some blue rubbers on there, or put some, you know, some yellow or something like that. Those have a tendency of being very bouncy rubbers compared to black or even red. Red is bouncier than black, but still not quite as bouncy as blue. But yeah, so we actually crossed the billion point threshold as well, which might get us on the leaderboard. I don't quite recall. But we're actually getting near the end of this game as well. So things are about to go south very quickly. They've actually been going south quite a bit. And that's one of the things about Sharkies, is that you'll have just a phenomenal ball that just seems like it never ends. But then you'll get shafted. You know, the ball will just go straight out the out lanes, or you'll get a bad drain down the middle, and you won't have your post saves. And that ball getting stuck there in that right pop bumper was something that would actually happen fairly frequently. And I would just, you know, to get it unstuck, you just flip the flippers back and forth a lot, you know, vibrate the game a little bit. And the ball would usually have a tendency of, you know, getting set free. And our mystery ball is lit again. Let's see if we hit it. And I missed. I could tell I'm getting a little worn out here as well, and we tilted. So that is it. That is Sharkey's Shootout. That is game. Yeah, so it looks like, oh, number 10 score. So 1 billion points is a lot of points in this game, actually. And so for that to only be the number 10 score, that means I played this game a lot. And I put up many, many billion-plus point games on it. And now we also get to enter our initials for the millionaire slot. And unfortunately, there's only 1 millionaire slot. It would be nice if there were multiples. But how this game usually works is if you have a really good game, you're going to get the millionaire slot. It's not that hard to do, to be honest with you. But yeah, that is pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like or a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, definitely consider subscribing. And check out my other tutorials and whatnot. And also, if you're not interested in watching this with commentary, I have a non-commentary version of this I uploaded many, many months ago too. So, but yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and until the next one, take it easy.